Is it working? मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं दृष्टान्तेवसदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णं सकलमुनिजनान् ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वडतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। स्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावेव विजृम्भयत्यविमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत् कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यत्साक्षात्करणात् भवेन्न पुनरावृत्तिर्भवम्भो निधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं मूर्तये नानाच्छिद्रगडोदरस्थितमहा दीपप्रभाभास्वरं ज्ञानं यस्य तु चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भान्तम् अनुभात्येतत्समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः त्रिबालान्धजटोपमास्त्वहमिति भ्रान्ताभृशं वादिनः व्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणा राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दुसदृशः मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रकरणोपसंहरणतो यो भूसुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागप्स्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यप्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहमित्यन्तः स्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये शम्पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामिसम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राध्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जाग्रति वा य एष पुरुषः मायापरिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये भूरम्भास्य नलो निलुम्भरमहर्नाथो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत्किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशतां यस्मात् परस्मात् विभो तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिन्स्तवे श्रवणात्तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च सङ्कीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्धेत्तत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतं च ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम् ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम् So we are on the 6th verse, right? So in the first two verses, sound is not there. Gaudabadacharya offered namaskara to his guru as well as the teaching of Brahma Vidya. Also he talked about the glory of the teaching, which is nothing but avivadaha. Beyond avivadaha means beyond all disputes and debates. How Brahma Vidya is beyond tarka. Gaudabadacharya established in verse number 3, 4 and 5. And now from the 6th verse onwards, Gaudabadacharya summarizes the Vedantic teaching in 5 verses, 6 to 10. So 6, 7 and 8, these 3 verses are repetition occurring in the 3rd chapter. The 3rd chapter, 20th, 21st and 22nd verses, idea is repeated. If the nature of Paramatma is not clearly understood, it will create several problems for sadhaka. Not only that, the very idea of moksha will be understood wrongly. And he will convert moksha into a future event, and he will be eternally waiting for a moksha, which will never be logically possible. Therefore, we should clearly know what moksha is. If we want our sadhana to be in the right direction, the nature of Paramatma has to be very clear. Here many people commit mistake, and the mistakes are of two nature. Number one, popular mistake is Paramatma now become Jivatma due to some reason, Maya, etc. And we have to gradually become Paramatma. And we all hope one day we will become Paramatma. Therefore, they are struggling to become Paramatma. This is mistake number one. Because Paramatma can never become Jivatma. Infinite cannot become finite. Therefore, there is no question of again Jivatma becoming Paramatma. Because Paramatma by definition is incapable of modification. Infinite cannot modify. The very word becoming indicate modification. Then what is Jivatma? Paramatma misunderstood is Jivatma. Paramatma misunderstood is Jivatma. And Jivatma properly understood is Paramatma. There is no becoming involved. There is only understanding involved. Rope has not become snake. The snake has to properly understood as the rope itself. That is the first mistake. Now, second mistake is they don't say Paramatma has become Jivatma. They say Jivatma was with Paramatma before, and that Jivatma got separated from Paramatma. They quote also Gita. ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःषष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति. There is a quotation also possible. Mamaiva amshaha. So amshamshi bhava. So Visishtadvaitis are very happy. That Jivatma got separated from Paramatma, and therefore what is our sadhana? The Jivatma has to trek and toil and gradually go nearer and nearer. There is a promise also. If you keep one step forward, the Lord will take 10 steps towards you. Means thinking of some kind of a merger into Paramatma by Jivatma. And they think one day Jivatma will merge, and that is moksha. This is mistake number 2. Because there is no question of anything coming from Paramatma. As Paramatma is all-pervading principle, and how can anyone be physically away from something that is all-pervading? In the case of two finite things, separation and union is possible, but how can there be union with infinite possible? Here also we should understand that separation is not a physical event. Separation is a misconception. It is notional. I wrongly think that I am away from Paramatma. Imaginary distance caused by ignorance. Therefore, the merger is not a physical event. The imaginary distance has to be dropped. I am ever one with Paramatma, past, present, and future. Therefore, there is no becoming, joining, but understanding. This will be very clear only when you understand the nature of Paramatma. Now, Gaudapada says in the 6th verse, Ajatasyaiva dharmasya jati michanti vadinaha ajato hyamrto dharmo martyatam kathameshyati ajatasya dharmasya jati michanti vadinaha ajahyo. With the previous verse, Gaudapadacharya's explanation to the word avivadaha is over. Now, in these following verses, 6 to 10, Gaudapadacharya gives the gist of Advaitic perspective, the vision of the Advaitin. He says, Advaitins have freed themselves from all the mistakes the other philosophers commit. In fact, freedom from this basic mistake is called moksha. In fact, these 6, 7, and 8 verses are bodily lifted from the Advaita Prakaranam. What is the mistake all the philosophers make? They think that there is a Paramatma who is the cause of this world. Bhagavan has created this world. Lord is the cause and the world is effect. Two parts, Jagat and Jiva, both have come from God. So, triangle format. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. Triangle format. The triangle format is called samsara. Jiva, Jagat, both have come from God. They call it as the fall of the Jiva. Separation of soul from the Lord. This Jivatma is caught up in the jungle of samsara, which is full of suffering. Jivatma continued to suffer until once the Jiva merged into the Lord. All their sadhanas are based upon this conception of joining the Lord. All these views are entertained without taking into account the nature of Paramatma. If they think a little bit more, then they will know that Paramatma is eternal. This Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, they all accept God is eternal. If God is eternal, how can the eternal God become the cause for this world or Jiva? Eternity and cause never go together. Cause means modification. Eternal means modification free. The very word cause indicates modification, change. Whether it is nimitta karanam or upadana karanam, a cause means it has to undergo change. Eternal means beyond time, means the sixfold modification do not touch. Even now, the Jivatma is not a product of Paramatma. In fact, Jivatma is none other than Paramatma. Therefore, I, the Jivatma, has not come from Paramatma, and I, the Jivatma, need not join the Paramatma. Only have to understand that I am ever Paramatma. This is to be known. If this is missed, you will be eternally waiting for joining Paramatma. It will never happen. Vadinaha ajadasya dharmasya jadimichanti. Vadinaha ajadasyeva dharmasya jadim ichanti. The other philosophers talk about the change of the changeless Paramatma. How? By giving the Paramatma the status of a cause. We think it is glorification of Paramatma. But Gaudapadacharya says giving a causal status is bringing the Paramatma down to the time-space realm. It is an insult to the Lord. Ajataha, amrtaha, dharmaha, martyadham katameshyati. How can the changeless Paramatma ever become the cause for the changing universe? Never possible. Then, if Paramatma is not the cause, the world has not come into being. Jivatma also. When Jivatma itself is not there, where is the question of samsari Jivatma? Seventh verse. Na bhavatyamritam martyam na martyamamritam tatha. Abhavat martya. Martyam la martya. Martya. Martyam. Martya. Amritam martya. Prakrite anyatha bhavaha na katham chit bhavishyati. The immortal cannot become mortal, nor can the mortal ever become immortal. What is that equivalent to Gita verse? Nasato vidyate bhavaha abhavo vidyate sataha ubhayorapi drishtontaha tvanayor tattvadarshibhihi. Real never become unreal. Unreal never become real. That's the point here also making. Immortal cannot become mortal, nor can the mortal ever become immortal. For it is never possible for a thing to change its nature. Now, Gaudamadacharya reinforces this topic, saying that the immortal Paramatma can never become the mortal Jivatma. Immortal never means changeless. If it changes to become Jivatma, it is a contradiction. So, Amritam Martyam na bhavati. So, to the mortal Jivatma can never become the immortal Paramatma. In short, there is no connection between infinite and finite. Therefore, the very attempt for liberation is born of misconception. Now, what is moksha then? To get out of this idea that I want to become liberated. You are already liberated. Because the essential nature of a thing never undergo any change. If mortality is my essential nature, I will be ever mortal. Any amount of attempt will not make me immortal. And if immortality is my nature, I need not work for immortality. That is why we want to be immortal. It is a born desire. It is not cultivated. I want to live a day more, right? Nobody wants to die today. Tomorrow. That means what? There is a desire for immortality. That's why Kayakalpam and all that, people go for that. I think there is a place in Bangalore, someplace, Karnataka. Kayakalpam. They take you inside and then they put, I don't know what they do to the body. It is a 2-3 months process, it's 2-3 months process. You have to pay some money and then you go there, they will take care of the body. Then you come out fresh, young boy. This one. So that is because what? We want to live ever. All the yogasana, yogabhyasa, ashtanga yoga, hada yoga, they're all, what is that? They want to live in this body longer time, pranayamis. So they have a theory that you take inhalation and exhalation per minute, there is a count. I don't know how much count. And if when you are born, that count is programmed. How many times you breathe, that is programmed. Now, how to cheat that program is what the pranayamis do. Why? Antakumbhakam, bahikumbhakam. So when you breathe out, you refuse to breathe in for 15 count, 20 counts, 30 counts. Then at the same time, when you breathe in, you refuse to breathe out. That also antakumbhakam. So then what happened? You are breaking that program, isn't it? So you have stopped breathing. So that count is extended. Now the time is extended. This is how they practice every day. Let us say 1 hour, 2 hours. You practice this, what happened? Your lifespan get extended. So this is what they say. So, but whatever it is, you are finite, isn't it? Even 200 years you live, still also it's finite. 1,000 never, that's why Parishit, these Nachiketas tell, no? That to Yamaraj, that you extend my lifespan. So as long as I am this Yamaraj, you will not die. But there will be a time you go and then I have to face death. So that is the thinking. There is it is finite. Whatever number you say, it is finite. So prakritehe anyatha bhavaha. A change is nature, intrinsic nature. Na bhavishyati, never change happens. Why do we say that? Because what does not change is called essential nature. Heat is the essential nature of the fire. Therefore, fire will eternally have heat as its nature. So, Paramatma's essential nature is immortality. And therefore, that Paramatma cannot become mortal, Jivatma. Avinashitu tatvitti ena sarvamitam tatam. Gita, Bhagavan, everything is said. Continuing. Svabhavenamruto yasya dharmo gacchati martyatam kritake namrutastasya katham stasyati dischalaha. Gaudapadacharya makes a supposition to make other people happy. For the sake of argument, let us assume that Paramatma has become Jivatma. This is for the argument's sake, okay? By doing sadhana, the mortal Jivatma struggling to become the immortal Paramatma again. If with your sadhana, one day you become immortal Paramatma. Let us suppose. Then also it does not solve the problem. Why? Because already the immortal Paramatma has become Jivatma, and this mortal Jivatma going to become immortal Paramatma. Gaudapadacharya says, if the mortal Jivatma become Paramatma, what is the guarantee that the immortal Paramatma again become mortal? This way, Jivahood to Paramatmahood and again become Jivahood. Like this will be a cycle. If Jivatma become Paramatma, what is the guarantee that you won't come back again? The same argument holds good for merger also. I was with the Lord and separated from Him. If you join the Lord by traveling, what is the guarantee that you can be with Him permanently? If you have separated from Paramatma once, what is the guarantee that you will not get separated again? Moksha become temporary. Therefore, neither becoming nor joining Paramatma. Then, what is moksha? It is knowing I was, I am, and I ever will be Paramatma. Correction of error is the one required. All these three verses are important for Nididhyasanam. These are the three verses to be meditated upon. We have talked elaborately about in the third chapter. Now, ninth verse. Samsiddhiki swabhaviki. Samsiddhiki swabhaviki. Sahaja akrita chaya. Prakritiseti vitneya. Swabhavam na jahatiya. In this verse, Gaudapadacharya is defining Prakriti or essential nature to show that Paramatma's nature is immortality and it will never become mortal Jivatma. He gives 4 examples for essential nature. Samsiddhiki. The essential nature can be compared to an extraordinary power shown by a Siddha Purusha. Siddhis, miracles, the miraculous powers accomplished by Siddha Purushas. Yoga is one method, certain type of mantra is another method, certain stones also another method. Those siddhis are like his own intrinsic nature. In Purana, we have stories about Vasishtha Rishi. Defending the force of Vishwamitra. All the divine missiles, celestial missiles, he absorbed in Yogadanda. Everything. So he was surprised. So that kind of siddhi, this is natural to them. Swabhaviki, samsiddhiki. Then second one is swabhaviki. It is like the intrinsic nature of certain object, like heat for fire. That is swabhaviki. Sapidity in water, malleability in gold, heat in the fire. Then third one is sahaja. It is again comparable to certain inborn faculties in living beings, like the flying capacity of birds. Fish has the inborn capacity to swim in water. Owl has got inborn faculty to see in the dark. What is that mechanism to see in the dark? See, their eyes are capable of seeing. Replace that eyes with one of the human eye. You can also see in the dark. So Bhagavan has created so many things, Wow. So these are all swabhavi, sahaja, born with it. You can think about so many things in nature. That what you call geographical magazine, or they go and take the picture, photograph, they observe the habits of the worms, birds, etc. And they depict so many things are there in the nature. By nature. The protective nature of mother to the child, that is there. All creatures, not only human being, all creatures. It's called sahaja. Sakrita, certain natural traits of certain things or objects in the creation. It is like water flowing to lower level. Ya swabhavam na jahati. Such intrinsic nature will never go away. Similarly, Paramatma's immortality is intrinsic nature. Similarly, Ananda, purity, eternity, all these are all natural. Swabhavaha. Ya swabhavam na jahati. Never give up. Akrita, not artificial. Sahaja. Duck taking to water. Gurudev has written his that example. So nice. Flying capacity in the birds are examples. Sahaja. Even in this world, you see, sahajam akritaha svabhavaha cannot go. Then what to talk about? That which is infinite can sacrifice its nature to become mortal, finite. That's the idea. So, Vedanta, unlike any other religions in the world, does not allow and accept even a single solid factor which is against reason. Vedanta suffers no blind faith. Continuing. Jara marana nirmuktaha sarve dharma svabhavataha jara marana michantaha च्यवन्ते तन्मनीषया Gaudamadacharya concludes his teaching by giving the essence of Vedanta, which is to say, we are ever free. Jara maranaha, free from physical changes, birth and death. Nirmuktaha, free from sarve, all dharmaha. Dharmaha here means jivas, entity, souls. Svabhavataha, by nature. This Jivatma, which is none other than Paramatma itself, Nirmuktaha, is ever free by his very nature. Free from Jara Maranam, old age and death. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to be immortal, because immortality is my nature. Therefore, I long for it, not knowing I am immortal. So, in this world, Prakriti Niyamam is that whenever you have a born tendency, born desire, craving, that should be fulfilled. There is a solution also there in the nature. So we are born with this desire. What is that? I want to be immortal. I don't want to die. I want to be ever. So this is because that is our nature. That's why we have this desire. We don't know it, that's why. Jara marana icchantaha, mistaking oneself to be mortal, subject to old age and death. Here icchantaha means committing mistake, error, due to ignorance. When did ignorance came? When did ignorance come? When did it come? Suppose ignorance has come now, if you say, suppose I ask you, do you know Russian? I hope you don't know. So when did this ignorance of Russian come when I asked you. That means what? Before I asked you, what was there? No. Opposite of ignorance. Knowledge. So, how can from knowledge ignorance come? It's a contradiction. So, ignorance you come to recognize when I asked you. That is all. Ignorance has been there all the time. So, that's why I call Maya is Anadi. The more you think about it, more you become confused. You hit a wall. That is where you should surrender. Oh Lord, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how. So intellect has to surrender. Until then, it is a. But ignorance ends. Ah. Anadi is all right, but Ananta nahi. Antam hai. So Brahman is what? Anati Ananta. But Maya is Anati but Antaha. Ignorance come to an end at one point. Then Manishaya becomes strong conditioning, and therefore Chevante fall from his original glory and become a samsari. You know, in our childhood we used to play. We put a coin there, a coin. You press it and keep it. Then afterwards it fall down. But still he think it is there. Then ask him to hit the back and try to make it fall. It never fall. Because it's not there. So too, we are hitting at the world for removing samsara. Which is what is needed is a mirror to show the way. Vedanta is like a mirror. What is the essence of Vedanta? I have no samsara to be removed. There is samsara. Today morning only we saw that. Samsara, what do you call that? The first is that you consider this world is unreal, anatma. Anatma nischayatvam. The world is anatma. This is to be very clear. But that also, Sureshwaracharya says, it's ignorance. Why? Because the anatma and atma, if you say two things, then it becomes what? Dvaitam. But anatma Anatma is also, Anatma Nischaya also is ignorance. What is that? Anatma is mithya. Mithya means what? That which is not there. So when something that is not there, why are you afraid? Then what is there? Only one Paramatma. There is no two things. Only one gold. There is no chain. No chain. Where is chain? Only one gold. And what is the chain? It is a root nama given to a form without any substance. What is required is to drop the idea is that I am bound. I am ever free. This delusion is the one to be removed. You keep your finger locked and then say, I cannot move my finger. No. Try. Cannot move my finger. But you yourself can. You decided not to. So what can you do? What is there? To drop the idea that I am bound. I am ever free. This delusion is the one to be removed. Manishaya. General meaning is conviction. But that meaning does not fit here. It means strong conditioning, wrong attachment. Therefore, the entire Vedanta is a process of deconditioning. Detox program बोलते हैं ना लोग. Detox. If someone say Vedanta is brainwashing, we say yes, because a lot of washing is required. Required for the brain, as it has collected a lot of dirt, impurities. So brainwashing is correct. So, all jivas are by nature immortal. So, don't feel that limitation. Continuing. Karanam yasya vai karyam. Karanam tasya jayate. Jayamanam kathamajam. Bhinnam nityam katham chatat. Now from this verse onwards, Gaudapadacharya is going to refute the other systems of philosophies for the sake of clarification. Some of the systems are called astikas because they accept Veda Pramana. Some of them are called nastikas because they don't accept Veda Pramanam. And among the astikas, there are two powerful schools, Sankhya and Nyaya. Sankhya Darshanam, Nyaya Darshanam. And through their own theories, Sankhya Darshanam wants to establish creation. And Nyaya Darshanam also wants to establish their own theory of creation. And we have to refute them as according to Vedanta, there is no creation. Really speaking, both of them argue themselves and refute each other. So we need not deal with them separately. Yeah. So you want to, what you call, it's called Prathama Malla Nyaya. Prathama Malla Nyaya. In wrestling, so if a champion is there, a national champion is there, he doesn't have to fight with all chota mota people. He has to fight with only the national champion. Right? They call Prathamalya. So these people themselves fight each other. So we don't have to do anything. We need not deal with them separately. But Gaudavacharya thinks that Sankhya Darshanam is very powerful system which requires special treatment. Because it is very close to Vedanta in many respects. In fact, sometimes Vedanta itself is called Sankhya. So we have second chapter, Sankhya Yoga is there. Thus, because of several similarity, people mistake Sankhya as Vedanta. Therefore, Acharya is taking special effort in refuting Sankhya established by Kapila. And this one is different from Kapila from Bhagavatam. Okay. That Kapila I know. That is Bhagavan, that he accepts Bhagavan. No? Here it is Nirishara Sankhya. Therefore, Gaudavadacharya feels that this school of philosophy has to be refuted. And in 11, 12 and 13 verses are Sankhya Mata Khandanam, refuting Sankhyas. And Gaudavadacharya does not take pains to refute Nyaya Darshanam, because he thinks it is not Nyaya Darshanam but Anyaya Darshanam. That is his thinking. Then their arguments are weak. That's why idea. Non-existent thing come into existence is a flaw in logic. It cannot be it can be dismissed very easily. Number one, grammatically, and how can matter has origin? No matter can be created or destroyed. So Sankyans have to be dealt with. First we have to know the basic principle of Sankhya Darshanam. Then we shall be able to see how Gaudavadacharya is going to refute. Sankhya scientifically, intellectually say a non-existent effect can never originate. That's correct. Then what do you mean by the protection of a pot? Sankhyan say no new matter is created when the pot is produced. But what happened is, before the production of the pot was not in pot form. It was in some other form. Therefore, he agreed that every product does exist in some other form before its production. Therefore, pot existed before creation in a lump of clay form.
This is Sankhya saying
Yeah,
the effect exists in the cause but in a different form.
yeah. Example is a sculptor select a stone and bring it to his studio. And 1 month time, he creates a beautiful idol of Krishna with a flute. And you go and appreciate him, saying that what a beautiful creation you have made. What will he say? Did I create? No. Krishna was already there. He removed what was not necessary. He chipped off the unwanted part. It was already there. The same way, what existed before creation in a lump of clay form. Curds existed before its production in some other form, which is called the milk form. Hence he says that cause is that, karanam is effect, karyam itself, but in the cause in some other form. So karanam is nothing but karyam in some other form. That some other form, Sankhya's call it as Karana Avastha. So, Karyam Utpattehe Purvam Karana Avasthayam Asti. What is the production of the effect? When you want to produce the effect, the karanam itself get modified from karana avastha and bring it into karya avastha. The clay itself modifies itself into the pot. Isn't it? Is it correct? Therefore, Sankhyan say production is conversion of a thing from karana avastha to karya avastha. Srishti is from karana avastha to karya avastha. Whatever be the features dormant in karana avastha, they come into manifestation in karya. Sankhyan's call it as abhivekti. Gold which is in karanavastha is converted into karyavastha is called creation of a chain. So every production is a transformation, means parinamaha. Therefore Sankhyan's philosophers called Satkaryavadaha, known by another name Parinamavadi, modification. Therefore the Sankhyan philosopher accept that Karanam and Karyam both are one and the same substance. The difference is only in the avastha, the state or configuration, like ice, water, vapor, all one substance, like matter and energy, is one and the same. Now, first principle, Karanam is equal to Karyam. Now, Vedanta also agree with this principle. Second principle, Sankhya analyzes the creation of the universe. When we talk about the origination of the universe, he has to talk about the cause of the universe. For Sankhyan's, the cause of the universe is Prakriti or Pradhanam. And this cause, Prakriti, is Nityam. That is where the problem. For Sankhyan's, Prakriti is Nityam. Third principle, the universe is born out of Prakriti, and this universe is called Prapanchaha. Why it is called Prapancha, you know. Pancha Pancha. Is a product which he calls Karyam. Karyam is Prapanchaha. Cause is Prakriti. Fundamental matter. Karyam equal to Prapancha. Then he says Prapancha is Anityam. That is also another problem, because it is a product object. You know what is the problem? Pradhana is Nityam. Out of Pradhana, Prapancha has come. Pradhana means Prakriti. Out of Prakriti, Nitya Prakriti, Prapancha has come. And Prapancha is Anityam. Based on three principles, Gaudapadacharya is pointing out 4 fallacies in those principles. Number 1, Karanam is equal to Karyam. That is one principle. Karanam is equal to Prakriti, which is Nityam. Karyam is equal to Prapancha, Anityam. When you combine principle 1 and 2, Karanam equal to Karyam, Karanam equal to Prakriti, Nityam, the conclusion we get is Karanam is equal to Karyam and Karanam is equal to Prakriti, which is Nityam. Then you say Karyam is Anityam, means Prapancham is Anityam. Therefore, the first dosha is Karya Nityatva doshaha. This is fallacy number 1. Now to fallacy number 2. Look at the principle 1 and 3 together. Karanam is equal to Karyam and Karyam is Anityam. Therefore, naturally, Karanam should be Anityam. But you find 1 and 3 joined together, the second one is a contradiction. So when you join 1 and 2 together, third one is contradicted. And when you join 1 and 3 together, second is contradicted. Means what? From a Nitya cause, Anitya effect cannot come. That is the idea. Karya Nityatva doshaha, Karana Anityatva doshaha, twofold contradiction. We read the 11. Huh? No, no. Karanam yasya. We did, right? That is 11. Yeah. It says Karanam is equal to Karyam according to Sankhya philosopher. Then third one is Karyam is Anityam. If you join 1 and 3, what is the conclusion? Karanam also will be anityam. How can Prakriti be nityam? This is the point. Okay. Yeah, our Gurudev's last paragraph, you read that. It's very nice. Whether we say the world is nothing but Narayan, or we say that Narayana is nothing but the world, in either of the cases, to accept that the world has been created from Narayana will be to murder Narayana. Lord, the Supreme Reality would become a finite mortal if we were to accept that the world of plurality has been created, caused by the Lord. Continue. Karanatyatyanaanyatva atah karyamajam yati जायमानाद्धि वै कार्यात् कारणं ते कथं ध्रुवम् Karanam is equal to Karyam. Karanam, so Karanam is Prakriti, Nityam. So Karyam should be Nityam. Which contradicts your third principle. If Prakriti is equal to Prapancha, either both must be Nityam or both will be Anityam. Right? So, with these two verses, Gaudapadacharya point out two fallacies. If Prakriti is equal to Prapancha, either both must, and Prakriti you cannot say Nityam. Either both Nityam or Anityam. That is what is said there. Because if you say cause is identical to the effect, then effect should be eternal and unborn. You have listened to Gurudev's logic of spirituality? No? Logic of spirituality.
Listen to it again.
Huh?
Long ago, listen to it. Listen to it again.
He talks about three causes. No? Effects are nothing but cause in different form. Without a cause, there cannot be any effect. Number one. Number two, effects are nothing but cause in different form. Number two. Number three, from the effect, the cause is removed, nothing remains. Right? From the pot, the clay is removed, what remains? Nothing remains. From the chain, gold is removed. Gold minus chain. Chain. Gold minus chain. Okay. Gold. Gold minus chain, gold. Okay. 13th verse. अजात्वै जायते यस्य दृष्टान्तस्तस्य नास्ति वै जाताश्च जायमानस्य न्यव्यवस्था प्रसज्यते हाँ? क्या हुआ? To understand this third and fourth fallacy, we should know one more principle of Sankhyan philosophy. They say their philosophy arrived at using reasoning. He says the Moola Prakriti, which is the cause for the universe, is subtle and cannot be visible. It is not Pratyaksha Pramana Vishaya. If Prakriti is not available for Pratyaksha Pramanam, then how did you come to know about Prakriti? That also subtle. I arrived at with Anumana Pramanam. Anumana Pramanam, you know what it is? Inference. Yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra vanni. And because I arrived at Anumanam, there is another name for Prakriti, and the name itself is Anumanam, reasoning. Wherever Anumanam or reasoning is involved, it requires some Vyapti or generalizations, means data. Without data, we cannot do any reasoning. First, from Pratyaksha, seeing the coexistence of smoke and fire. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. We come to know through pratyaksha pramana. Pratyaksha means direct perception. From this we got this vyapti, the invariable coexistence. From that, later we can infer, when you see smoke alone in one place, even if you don't see the fire, you can conclude there is fire. Now, through inference, Sankhyans talk about Prakriti, and he says, Prakriti is Karanam, cause of the whole universe, and he also say, Prakriti is Nityam. Now the Vedantin argues. He says the perceptual data we gather from our experience is what? Every cause we experience in this world, we always see it itself is a product. Seed itself is the cause, but the seed itself is a product. And therefore it is anityam. Therefore Vedantin argues, whatever you say is cause, it is anityam. Puriliya. So whatever you say, they say the cause is nityam, right? That is disproved by Vedantin, saying that cause cannot be nityam. Whatever you say it is a cause, it can become effect. Like seed. Seed is a cause. The seed itself become an effect, isn't it? Any doubt? If you have a doubt, you are an effect of your parents. Now you become a cause to your children, isn't it? Yatra yatra karanatvam tatra tatra anityatvam. So our own parents. Example. Sankhyan say Prakriti is Karanam. If Prakriti is cause like any other Karanam, Prakriti also must be Anityam. Cannot be Nityam. But if you make an inference, it is Karanam and Nityam. It is a fallacious inference. Because you don't have an example to show an eternal cause. In logic, you have to give an example. To prove anything, you have to Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. All the three are necessary. So this is called Yukti Virodha Doshaha. O Sankhyan, you don't have any example at all. Drishtandasya nasti vai. That is why we say even God becomes non-eternal if God becomes a cause.
Do the Sankhyans have a response to this?
No.
They are not Advaita.
Hmm?
Sankhyans are not Advaitas. So they will acknowledge two realities then, two parallel infinities almost.
And they also have jiva, separate jiva. That part will come later. Okay, we'll stop here. Today we'll stop here. You have enough now to think. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyade Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. There are no Sankhyans and all these people are not there. Now, last time I was talking about Charvakas, right? Now, the Charvaka theory, I said that time there is no founder, but that's not correct. There is a Charvaka theory, the original founder is Brihaspati. You know why he invented that theory? To delude asuras. Because asuras are given, body alone is everything. Yavat jive sugam jivet, ranangritva gridam vivet. That theory was propounded to